Hey guys, I believe I'm live. Driveway of Misfits. Are you ever not glad to be? Mate, I'm always glad to be here. It's a nice little breath of fresh air just to have a chat with the boys. Josh Homan, hey, good to have you here, mate. Thanks for joining. Beagle Bob here as usual. Very good. Who else have we got coming in the room tonight? So, what's been happening, guys? It's been 2 weeks. I know I had a very good time last week. Didn't pick up a wrench for like 8 days, so that was quite nice. I had a lot of this. Whew. Driveway of Misfits. Good evening, Mr. Slee. How was your vacation? My vacation was awesome. Good times, good friends, good food, good drink, good weather. Had it all really. It was good. It was awesome. 69 Coronet, welcome along, man. Good to have you here. So, who's got their car running and who hasn't? And like, what have you guys all been up to? Beagle Bob, I only got to watch half the Camaro video. I don't know how well I'd feel not touching a wrench for a week. Yeah, driver, it kind of runs. Well, it kind of did, but it was not happy. Josh Homan, so far, I've always been happy to be here. Well, that's a good thing, I guess. Charles Dalton, good evening. Welcome along, man. Steve Sadusky, welcome along. 6th Street Garage. All the regular ne'er-do-wells are in the room. So it's all good to have you back, guys. Zolly's Auto Clinic. How's today been? Hot. That's how it's been. Just hot. Sweating, wet, like all day. As soon as you put out the slightest little bit of effort, then the sweat starts, and then you just wet for the rest of the day. But what else? 6th Street Garage, Driveways Misfits. What's the best way to put a flare on the end of a steel fuel line while it's in the car? Right. Well, you can use just the little cheapy brake flaring tool, because those two little bars that go together, kind of thing like that, and they clamp there and there, and you can make a brake flare with it. Well, you can just do the one step and just use your little taper thing to just clamp it on, crank it in, and just flare it out a little bit. The other thing I have done, if I'm limited on room, is just use like a Phillips screwdriver, a reasonably thick Phillips screwdriver, and just slide it inside the tube and just work it around, and it will stretch out the end of the pipe. You don't put it in very far, you can get a bit of an angle on it, and just work it around inside the tube, and it'll just spread it out. You only need it to be a little bit bigger. It doesn't need to be a big flare, it just needs to be a little bit bigger, and that'll stop it sliding up. Right. Lower Man's LVG. Hi, Kiwi. Got the 60 Cruiser-matic ready to go to the repair shop. Oh, very good. What are they repairing? What's the repair shop for? Charles Dalton, near do well. Well, I got to admit you're not wrong. There you go. Well, we're all kind of, I think most of us guys that are into these old cars, and I've got a few tales to tell that may not get told, but, that's all right. Steve Sadusky, did Kev ruin the house from being locked up? No, he did not. He actually didn't. It didn't actually appear to have moved very much at all. So he seems to just still be sat in the same. I think he might be in a coma just between you and me, but not sure. Jolly's Auto Clinic. I like the hydraulic flare tools. They make it so easy. Yeah, they certainly do. They certainly do. I changed the coolant in my Coyote and it still runs, so that's good. Need to get off my butt and get my Mustang to the hydraulic store for some hard fuel lines. There you go. Very good. Well done. Pop's Mustang Shop. Happy Tuesday. Yes, indeed. Happy Tuesday. Driveway of Misfits. yeah. Oddie's Auto Clinic, yeah, but don't want to spend the money on one to make one flare. No, fair enough. No, literally just do it with, like a number 3 Phillips, or number 2 or number 3. Just put it in, slide it into your hard line 1/2 inch, and just angle it around like that, and that'll stretch it out, reasonably well. I mean, if we're talking about a fuel injection fuel line, then maybe not. If you've gotten 50, 60 psi, but for carburetors, piece of cake. Josh Homan, you never know, you may have to make more flares someday. Well, this is true. Yeah, I think everyone should have one of those little cheapy, the 2-bar brake line flare tools. They're not very expensive, and when you need one is usually like on a Sunday afternoon and nowhere's open, and so they're kind of handy to have around. It's a TBI car, throttle body injection. So what sort of fuel pressure is that running? TBI car. Yeah. You probably need to get a flaring tool. You can do a decent flare on it. I'm not sure. Some of the TBIs are only running like 30 psi, which is not too bad. You get away with my screwdriver method on that, but if it's if it's a high pressure one, that might be pushing your luck a little bit. And given I tend to err on the side of caution, but yeah. Granddad's Junk. Hey, welcome along, brother. How you doing? Steve Sadusky. I finally found an accelerator pump for my Pontiac Trans Am Quadrajet. Really? That was hard to find? Didn't realise that sort of stuff was getting hard to get. But the Quadrajets were pretty well looked after. Now, PAC, how do we say that? PAC at HEK 74. Howdy, long time listener, first time commenter. Well, good for you, man. I'm glad you've been listening, and it's even better that you're joining in. So any questions, anything you want to share, have at it, man. LVG, it was leaking like a sieve out of the selector seal. When I pulled the pan, it looked like it was full of clutch mud. Ooh. Time to take for a complete rebuild. Yes. Well, late this afternoon, we drained the transmission fluid out of Marge, and that video is coming up, and it's probably going to be some work we're doing of an evening on Marge this week is probably going to become Saturday morning's video. We're pulling the engine and trans out and straightening a few things out. We drained the oil out of the transmission. And man, it looked like diesel oil, like old used diesel oil. It was black. There's an awful lot of clutch and plate material in that oil, and it's burnt. So yeah, I knew it was slipping, because if you stayed on it, and when it changed. And stayed on it's a relative term in Marge's case, because she doesn't have a lot of power. But like if you put your foot down and kept it in as it tried to change to second, it just revved up. It slipped. There's no way. The clutches and bands were hanging onto it, with its modest horsepower, shall we say. But yeah. So yeah, that's definitely in need of a complete rebuild. So keep an eye out Saturday morning. There should be, if I can get it together, there should be a reasonable length Marge video, and hopefully the plan is to get the motor out tomorrow, actually out of the car, then Thursday, Friday evening kind of thing, get the motor torn down and see what we're looking at. See just how sad it is internally, and make a video out of it, put it up Saturday morning. Tell me, guys, how do you like that 9:30 time slot on a Saturday morning? Is that like horrible for you guys, or is that I'm kind of jumping onto the onto the like Kevin Tate's Paint Education. Like he has a Saturday morning video at 8:00 every Saturday. So I just thought, I might, a lot of his viewers are my viewers and vice versa. And he's got a lot more than me. So it's like, okay, I'll jump onto his coattails and have a video that just slots in after Kevin's Paint Education. So you've got a nice Saturday morning's worth of, hopefully, in theory, enjoyable videos. So let me know what you think about that idea. Does that work for you guys? Now, what have we got? Oh, Zolly's Auto Clinic. Right, yeah. The hydraulic ones are expensive. Got mine for $150 on sale, but I use it once a month. It's well worth it. I mean, the one I've got is a nice one, and I paid about 400 and something bucks for it. But God, I couldn't tell you how often I use that, and it does perfect flares on stainless steel brake lines, like perfect, 100. It never misses. It's 100% success rate even on stainless. So, Junkyard Rodeo. Okay. Can't read that, but I don't know the language, I'm afraid. Sorry, man, but you appear to be appreciating whatever it is I'm doing, so that's good. Hope you're enjoying it. Driveway of Misfits, about 35 to 40 psi. I think you should probably go and buy a flaring tool, honestly. And they're not. I mean, just the regular old school manual ones are not $150. They're typically, 30, 40, $50 at the most. I would have thought. It's been a long time since I bought one, but yeah. Granny's Junk. Hi, Chris. How's the summer? Frickin' hot. It was like 95 degrees today here in Franklin. And humid because it keeps trying to rain. So the rain hits the ground and literally steams. So the humidity is through the roof. It's I was saying a few minutes ago, I just spend the day wet. I start sweating at kind of 8:00 and don't stop till I kind of get home and into the air conditioning. But you just drink plenty of water and you kind of get used to getting to just being wet all the time. It is what it is. I don't have the luxury of an air-conditioned workshop. So, Beagle Bob, what's everyone drinking on? I've got a glass of Heaven Hill bottled in Bond. Okay. Actually, Mrs. Kiwi made me this one. I'm not sure what she made it with. She did say, and I was rushing around trying to get the computer and everything organized, so I didn't actually pay attention. But I am enjoying it. Thanks, Mrs. Kiwi, if you're watching. But it's nice. Whatever little concoction she made, it's pretty good. Granny's Junk, been very hot lately, but cooling off. How's winter? Yes. They're digging into winter in New Zealand at the moment. Josh Home and I will have a Pepsi later on. Well, that won't give you a hangover, mate. So, you're onto something there. Granny's Junk, we had a couple of very nice sunny days. We missed all the flooding that Nelson pictured in Motueka had. I didn't even realise they'd had flooding, though. Oh well, at least you missed it. That's a good thing, I guess. Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Art. Good to have you here, man. What's new in Dr. Art's world? I know. I've kind of not kept up much, and I've hit the floor running on Monday and haven't had a chance to even look at any YouTube. So I know Art was working away on his Barracuda. I'm not sure where you got to on that, mate. Granddad's Junk. I see Texans are trading in their cars for boats. Looks pretty bad flooding. That's pretty bad. It's not really cover it. There's a lot of people lost their lives, and a lot of young people lost their lives, and it's a real tragedy. It's a really big deal. It's a really big deal, and Yeah, people are politicizing it big time, blaming Trump for it, and goodness knows what. And I'm not getting into whether it is his fault or not. I'm not saying some people are blaming him, rightly or wrongly. I don't know. But I haven't read enough about it. But it sounds like they were camping in a known flood zone, with a bunch of kids, and it's like, okay. And I don't know enough, so I've got to be careful not to judge with that. On face value, that doesn't sound like a great idea. So, yeah. Charles Dalton, I like Saturday mornings and I always watch Paintucation, but it usually takes me all day. Saturdays are when I get the work done around the house. Mate, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I either work at the shop on Saturdays or I'm working at the house. So, yeah, Saturdays are not really a day of leisure. The feedback I've had from other people and a lot of feedback Kevin gets on the Paintucation is that a lot of the guys are, like when Power Block TV used to be on, they'd have a 2-hour block, hence the Power Block, on a Saturday morning. And, that was always kind of like guys would put that 2 hours to one side. They'd book that time and tell the wife to leave them alone or whatever for that 2 hours and get their car fill quota, on a Saturday morning. Tavo, hey mate, welcome along. Good to have you here. Hey guys, just finished watching the Camaro sniper video. Yeah. Well, Dr. Art's in the house, and he did give me a bit of help on that. Because fuel injection is not my forte, not my strength. And honestly, the only reason I'm working on that car is because he is such a long-term customer. He was one of my not my first customer, one of my first 20 or 30 customers from like 10, 12 years ago here in Franklin. So yeah, and he has an issue every now and again, and he brings it to me. But yeah, if it was just Joe Blow stranger ringing up with an issue with their sniper, it'd be like, sorry, I can't help you. But he wanted me to look at it, so I'm looking at it, and I think, as I said in the video, I think, use the old phone a friend, being Dr. Art, get a little bit of help and a little bit of help from Holly, and we'll figure it out. It's like, it's not, it is a little bit rocket science, but it's not complete rocket science. Driveway of Misfits. I had one of the cheapy 2-bar flaring tools, but I may now have an excuse for a hydraulic tool. Indeed. Roy Miller, hey, welcome along, mate. Good to have you here. Steve Sadusky, the auto parts store around my area not stocking carburetor parts like they used to. Rock Auto didn't have the accelerator pump either, and I've been waiting 6 months. Are you trying to just buy the accelerator pump on its own? Because I got a kit for a Corvette not long ago, and it had all the pump in it. But I guess if you're trying to just get the pump, that might be a little harder. Beagle Bob, it's 42 degrees centigrade. Ooh, right now, partly cloudy. We'll hit 47 tomorrow. Oh. Beagle Bob, where are you based again, mate? That's seriously hot. 47. Wow. That's seriously hot. Is that Pack Attack? I'm guessing that's how you should pronounce it. Pack Attack 74. Preparing for full suspension bushing replacement on my 72 Skylark. Any suggestions, advice? Yeah, bushings. That's not a 5-minute job on those things. Those you do need a special tool to press those bushes out and to press the new ones in. Yeah, I've got a kit that does just about everything, the ball joints, bushes, whatever, and it's got lots of different shapes and sizes in it. And I can't remember how much that cost me, but it actually wasn't too bad. I think it was, like pushing $200. But the trick is you can't do it without it. Maybe if you've got a press, you can do it, but you either need a press or the proper, or a ball joint bushing, removing, installing tool. Tavo, warmed up enough here to venture outside, 8 degrees C, but Kiwi's live is on, so that's not happening now. There you go. Yes, tucked up warm inside. Good man. Now, hang on. Where are we up to here? I think shot down the page. Here we go. Drive over misfits. Tavo, that door striker problem sucks. Yeah, that's an annoying one. That one. I watched that video. But yeah, it's going to have to go in. I think anyway, have to cut in through in a wheelhouse or wheel well, and right behind where that striker plate's meant to be. Reach in there, hook it out with a magnet or a welding wire or something. Hook it, get it back, and then rebuild the little tabs that hold it in place, allow it to move, but hold it in place. So it doesn't do it again. Zolly's Auto Clinic. Notice there has been flaky. I've noticed here has been flaky for parts availability as well. Had to order a cap and rotor for a TBI Chevy. Really? Had to order one? Wow. Junkyard Rodeo. How does Junkyard Geo become Junkyard Romeo? If it's Kiwi, it has to be good as the translation, sir. Bob's my uncle. There you go. All right, that made much more sense. So yeah, cool, man. Tavo was about to head out and do that. So is that what you're going to do, Tavo? You're going to cut in behind that bolt plate, striker plate? Pop's Mustang Shop. Kiwi needs some likes for putting in his time on Tuesday evenings. Find the like button. Yeah, that'd be good, guys, if you could. It all helps. Every little bit helps. So yeah, we got 15 likes and 26 in the room at the moment. So yeah. Josh Homan. I once drank 15 cups of coffee and kept myself up all night. I may be the only person that doesn't drink to know what a hangover is. Right. Okay, I'm with you. Yeah, well, drinking coffee all night will make you pay the next day too. Yes, for sure. A coffee hangover. LVG, hey Kiwi, do you have an Instagram where we could photos of our builds with you? I do have an Instagram page. It's Kiwi Customs. Because it was Kiwi Classics and Customs is too long for Instagram, so it's just Kiwi Customs, and you should be able to figure out it's me pretty quick, because there's a couple of other Kiwi customs that have similar names. So yeah, if it doesn't look like my stuff, it's possibly not me, but just Kiwi Customs. Where we could, you'd have to. I guess you'd have to send me the photos so I could post them. And let me give you my email. So that's not the right one. KiwiCNC.com. Right, that's my email, so you should be able to send them to that, and I can put them up on my Instagram page. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. Tavo, where's he going? Going up through the wheel housing, a bit tight in there, but someone suggested it, and it makes very good sense. That was me. I think someone else actually suggested it as well, but I concurred with that one. Josh Homan, that's insanely hot. Beagle Bob, Arizona. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Whew, that's hot, man. Driveway Misfits. Tavo will send some good vibes your way for successful backing plate ectomy. That's kind of not a bad name for it. Yeah. Steve Sadusky, I have everything to rebuild the Quadrajet now. It's the original numbers matching car to the car. Rebuild kits don't include accelerator pumps anymore. Really? Wow. Wow, that sucks because that's one of the key parts, in my opinion, of the rebuild kit. Because often when you're pulling the carb apart, you're doing it because the accelerator pumps stop working. Pack attack, appreciate it. Don't know why, but I didn't even think about the possible tools needed. Yes, it's pack attack. It took a while to figure that out for the old boy, but hey, I got there. So that's the main thing. Beagle Bob, I'm going to move east at the end of the year, somewhere that will allow a trip to come see the shop. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, come on down. Beagle, Granddad's junk. Even the rattlesnakes will be hiding in the shade. Yes, they will. The dude, mate, where have you been? My moderator. Get your official Kiwi merch at Kiwi Classics and Customs, my shop. Or email. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, dude. That's awesome. Paul Funk, good evening. Good evening, sir. LVG, got it. Thanks. Cool. Tava, yes, Kiwi, you did put your vote going with that option. Tavo, so you really like that Mustang photo I sent you the other week? I did, mate. That was one. I'm not sure whether I liked it, but I appreciated you sending it to me. But it was a bit of an abomination, in my opinion. It was for you guys obviously haven't seen it. It was a 65 Mustang, just a regular 65 Mustang coupe. That was turned into a limo, and they basically put 4 full-size, Mustang doors on it, and stretched it like that, and it was, I don't know, it wasn't my idea. I've seen some kind of neat stretch conversions, but the Mustang is just, there's nothing limo-ish about a Mustang. That's not what they ever were meant to be. They weren't a big, comfortable cruising car, but someone did it, and I guess, as long as people pay the money to ride in it, who cares? I mean, it's not like they've destroyed a rare car by cutting up a Mustang coupe. Let's be honest. So yeah, but yeah, it wasn't for me. The dude, being busy on these longer days, not as easy to catch the stream for me as it is over winter. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. And the days in the heat, the days seem to last longer too. Seem to drag more. Junkyard rodeo. Yeah. Who doesn't like the Mustang photos, Sir Tavo? There you go. Tavo abomination as being kind. Yeah, it didn't look the part, did it? Oh well, you see him cut into utes and shortened. Yeah. I've seen a Mustang that was shortened up drastically, and to be fair, that was probably even worse. Josh Homan, probably half the cars sold as classics these days are abominations. Yeah. Some are, for sure. I'd like to think it was a bit less than half, but yeah, hard to say. The dude, you got AC in the shop, Kiwi? No, I do not. I do not. I wish I did. But yeah, with my particular landlord, that's not really much of an option. Josh Homan, this is what happens when greed gets involved. Oh, yeah. Money, what do they say? Money is the root of all evil. XYGT looks decent as a stretch limit. Oh, someone didn't actually cut up a GT, a real GT, to do that, did they? Hopefully it was just a clone of a GT with just a regular old XY sedan. Hopefully. Shouldn't be cutting up GTs. Driveway of Misfits beauty is most definitely in the eye of the beholder. Absolutely it is, yeah. Beagle Bob, do you have a swamp cooler at least? Yes, I do. I do have a swamp cooler, and that makes it bearable. That makes it bearable. Old timer, hey, welcome along, bud. Josh Homan, certainly a lot of it. Yeah, sadly it is, yeah. Steve Sadusky, I have a T-shirt that says just one more car, I promise, but I lied. There you go. That's funny. Junkyard Radio, the love of money is the root. Well, yeah, the love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah, that's true. That's a more accurate way of putting it, yeah. At least, it's Junk. At least to ride a blind man would love to see it. Indeed, they would. I believe there are a couple of genuine GTs stretched down here. Oh, man. But plenty of clones too. But yeah, I guess it was when they were done. I mean, I remember back in the day, the GT Falcons they had a period where they weren't worth all that much, really, not like today. So yeah, I guess depending when it was done, it may not have been too egregious. But yeah, you'd be chopping up a lot of money to cut up a GT today. Old timer got me a bottle of Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy's nice bourbon, man. It's probably one of my favourites, I think, I'd have to say. Todd Denio, I'm late, but I'm finally here. Well, that's good, man. That's the main thing. You're here, so welcome along. Paul Funk, I didn't think swamp coolers work back east where it's humid. They do rely on evaporation, for sure. And I do find with the swamp cooler, when it gets like really hot, really humid, it loses its effectiveness. But it's better than nothing. It's not AC, never will be, but it's better than nothing. Josh Homan, I wish classic car prices would crash back down to where they should be. Ooh, there'd be some upset collectors if they did. Junkyard Radio, thank you, sir. No, that's just telling it how I see it, man. Driveway of Misfits, Josh. They're definitely coming down from where they were a few years ago. Yeah, they have. They're definitely settling, shall we say? Old timer, yes, sir. My first bottle, not my last. There you go. Granddad's Junk, even saying that the GT wasn't made in big numbers. No, it wasn't. Mike the Slacker. Hi, Kiwi. Hey, Mike. How you doing? Good to have you here. Tavo, classic prices are falling here on certain models, but parts prices have taken a big hit. Just when I'm looking at downsizing the shed stock. Isn't that always the way, mate? Yeah. What you thought your investments sitting out there in the shed are, But, could have had your money in the stock market, and then you would have suffered too, so. Old timer F7, I paid $500 for a 70 Torino in 1987, 302 auto. Those are a car that have never really been worth a lot, though, have they? The Torinos, they've never got a lot of love, and prices kind of reflect that. Never quite figured out why. Tavo, I still haven't gone to grab that bottle of scotch yet. Mate, got to have something to kind of wet your whistle when you come in from patching up that Valiant. Old timer. I love them. The people that love them, but it's amazing. Like even now, they're not, $500 was cheap, but that was a long time ago. But yeah, you can still pick up Torinos for a couple of grand. A beat to death Mustang coupe, people are asking, 2, 3, 4 grand for, 5 grand for. But the Torinos you can pick up still pretty cheap, relatively speaking. Driveway of misfits. Those early Torinos, pretty slick looking cars for a Ford anyway. Oh dear. Old timer. So how's things around the shop? Busy, man, busy. Lots happening. Kind of got multiple irons in the fire. Trying to get Marge to a point. Trying to get the engine and trans out, get them away to be rebuilt, which will take at least 3 months, if not 4. So trying to get that done, push her outside, and then get on with some other things. That's other things. One of them being the Sunbeam Alpine. But I didn't want to make a big push on the Alpine and then, then in 4 or 5 months' time go, oh, now it's time to start the engine on Marge. I wanted to, because she was just getting a bit too smoky and the transmission was a bit too slippy to keep driving it over summer. It was going to let me down sooner rather than later. So it's like, let's just pull it out, get it stripped down, park her up, and wait, do something else in the meantime. So it's kind of the plan. Steve Sadusky, my mind always thinks man can never have enough car parts. Well, this is true. Granddad's junk. If you need more room, build another shed. Yeah, it rolls off the tongue fairly easily, but not quite so easy to part with the money for another shed, is it? Todd Denier, classic prices around here are dropping like rocks. Some are even under 3K for runners. Wow. What sort of stuff is that, Todd? What sort of a runner are you getting for 3K? Beagle Bob, with how rarely you go on a booze run, you might as well buy a barrel instead of a bottle. See, that's thinking outside the box, isn't it? That's forward planning. I admire that. Old timer, where did you run off to for the last 10 days? Went to Antigua, which is an island in the Caribbean, fairly south in the Caribbean. But yeah, gorgeous place, just a beautiful place. A ton of history, like old wooden sailing ship type history. From the British Navy and those Pirates of the Caribbean type sailing ships. They got a big dockyard there that was been in there since the 1800s, and some cool stuff to see there. And beautiful beaches. It was awesome. Had a great 10 days. Steve Sadusky, that's what I did. Granddad's junk. Now I need a third shed. Oh dear. Junkyard Radio. Kiwi, don't you agree it's best to make sure the unibody Ford still has torque boxes before you buy? Absolutely. That's a key part of the construction. If they're rusty, you got a problem that needs to be addressed, and it's not that easy. It's very doable. You can buy the parts, but it's not a quickie job by any means. So yes, I agree. Granddad's junk. Steve, got on you, mate. A fourth one soon. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? I must admit, having that many sheds. But where would you start with that many projects? Good Lord. Beagle Bob, if it didn't have a Grand Marquis as a good daily driver, I'd buy Lincoln Mark 8. Okay, I think. Seen lots for only a few thousand. 4.6, 32 valve. Wow. With the independent rear suspension. Yeah, that'd be a kind of cool car. Didn't they make it like a nice looking two-door one as well on those Lincoln Mark 8s? They're not a bad looking car for a modern, well, what I call a modern car anyway. Tavo, 1984, I bought a Bathurst VG Valiant Pacer 4-barrel for $500. Thought I did well selling it in a few months later for $800. Oh, no. Yeah. How many times have you kicked yourself for that, bud? How many zeros would you add to that now? It'd have to be at least 2 zeros to that now, wouldn't it? LVG prices are dropping here in California as well. Some amazing deals on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, it's the market swings, doesn't it? Like as a few prices start to drop, then it kind of gains momentum, doesn't it? You get a bit of a snowball effect, and people start to panic and want to get out of their cars before they lose too much. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. Josh Homan, I saw a 98 Lincoln Mark 8 in the flesh once. Well, have I seen one in the flesh? Probably have. I'm not sure. Old timer, I want to take a river cruise up the Rhine to see the castles and so forth. That would be a great cruise. Yes, that would be a great cruise. Driveway of Misfits, those Mark 8s were pretty sweet rides. They automatically lowered themselves above a certain speed for aerodynamics. That was pretty trick back in the day, wasn't it? When they were new, that was kind of hot. What do they say? High techy tech. Yeah, that was fairly clever. Old timer, the Mark 8 was a two-door. Oh, okay, I'd seen two doors, and I assumed they made a four-door as well. Okay, they were just a two-door. Yeah, hot rod guy I know actually chopped the roof on one of those, and it came out really well. It looked pretty slick. He did I think it was about a 4-inch chop on it, and it looks pretty wild. And yeah, it did a nice job on it. His name will come back to me. Yeah, see if I can find some pictures of it and post it up somewhere. But that was a pretty sweet ride with the chop roof, and it was nicely done too. It wasn't a hack job; it was completely finished. Had the side glass remade, and they got the windshields cut down. I think he laid the back window down. Yeah, it was pretty cool. The Mark 8 was mid to late 90s two-door, shared the Cougar and T-Bird chassis, I think. Okay, that would make sense, yeah. Craig Nearing, hello from Wisconsin. How you doing, man? Good to have you here. Granite Shunk, it may be a bit disappointing that classic cars drop in price, but the flip side is hopefully younger people can afford to get into something. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Tavo, condition that Pacer was in then, about a 70k car now, in exceptional restored condition, 140 to 150k. Yeah, it would blow so many American hot rodders' minds to think someone was going to pay that kind of money for a four-door. Because everybody here is real two-door snobs, with maybe the exception of Uncle Tony. He always goes on about how he doesn't care how many doors it is. Most people seem to care how many doors it has, and two doors are far and away more popular here. But Aussies, yeah, they love their four doors, And at 140, 150K, they love them a lot. But yeah, that wasn't a bad guess. 2 more zeros, 70K. I was talking 80K, so I was in the ballpark. So. Yeah, Tavo, all those paces are very collectible and expensive. Yeah. Tavo, yeah, that's a very good point. Not just a 4-door, but a 6-cylinder 4-door. Yeah, 6-cylinder 4-door here trying to sell, like a Chevy, mid-60s Chevy Impala. And they did make, or might be a Bel Air, but, mid-60s Bel Air, 6-cylinder. Yeah, like you're actually struggling to sell it. Because people, you really can't drop the price quite enough, unless people just want the front clip off it or something. But yeah, a 4-door 6-cylinder Bel Air is not very desirable. And I'm not picking on Chevys, don't get me wrong. That's just what came to mind. But 4-door Falcons, 6-cylinder 4-door Falcons. It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell. Beagle Bob, the old Impalas are very valuable to the hydraulic crowd. They love their 2-doors though. They're the same. Like they're in. Yeah, I know the crowd you mean. They're Americans too. But yeah, they use what I've seen. They're usually 2-doors as well. They love their 2-doors. Paul Funk, my former neighbour has a 97 Mark 8, 65,000 miles. Nice. Replaced the airbags with springs and improved the handling immensely. Okay. Huh. Driveway of misfits. Granddad's junk. That assumes young people have disposable income to buy a classic car. Doesn't really seem to be the case these days, given cost of living. Yeah. So I think what I'm seeing, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just talking about what I'm seeing, is that the gap is widening between the haves and the have-nots. There's the young ones out there that have got good money, and they tend to be buying a little more exotic, and then the ones that really have, they're just driving an old 90s or early 2000s Camry, or just cheap runabouts, but that gap seems to have opened up, I think. Todd Denier, Kiwi, in recent weeks has various models from the 20s Model Ts or Whippets to 60s, 70s Cougar needing a front fender. They may not be great cosmetically or interior condition, but they do run. Okay. Whippets, I remember that. I'm trying to even think what a Whippet looks like. I'm trying to remember. I know the name. Granddad's junk, you're correct. The cost of living is getting out of control, mind you. All those tattoos they get would buy a good classic. Mate, you hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. End of time, 4-door cop cars are the exception. Okay. Didn't know that. Andy Nickel, hey all, late again. Tavo, Whippet's a small greyhound. Yes. Beagle Bob, would you choose an AK or an AR? I would choose neither. I'm not a gun person. I'm just not. Didn't grow up with them. New Zealand's a different world when it comes to guns. So, yeah, not a gun person. I fired a couple of guns in my years, not very often, and that's about it. The guys that have gun collections, and love going to the shooting range and, firing off a couple of 100 rounds, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not saying they're wrong, but it just doesn't, ring my bell at all. Yeah. Driveway of Misfits. Aren't all cop cars four-door? No, I've seen some. Didn't they used to have Fox body Mustangs as cop cars? Okay, I'm probably stretching it, like that. That's a while ago, admittedly, but yeah, I mean, yes, by far and away, typically cop cars are four doors. That way they can throw the bad guys in the back seat. Otherwise, you got to throw them in through the front door, which is going to be challenging. And many, I don't know about the rest of the country, but certainly around Williamson County, where I live, huge amount of SUVs, Ford Explorers, that kind of thing. Huge amount of SUVs. Beagle Bob, I thought whippets were dogs or some drug slang. No, they made English. Was an English car, the Whippet. Yeah, I know the name. I can't think who made them, or whether it was Whippet that made it. I don't know. But yeah, there was a car called a Whippet. Lower Man's Vintage Garage. Granddad's Junk, well said. Yes. Todd Denier, Kiwi, a Whippet was a Willys version of the Model T. Okay. Well, there you go. I was thinking it was English, but yeah, okay, I got that one wrong. But I had heard of it before. Beagle Bob, yeah, they use Fox bodies for some highway patrol cars. Yeah, they did. I've seen pictures of them. Old timer, I think the best buy for a semi-fast fun car is the new era Mustang. The new Edge era Mustang. You can get them for $4,500 in mostly rust-free shape, or $7 or $8 gets you a really nice one, and the aftermarket is good. True, yeah. Yeah, they are. You're right. They are. It's pretty cheap when you think about it, isn't it? That's the little bit older ones with the 4.6s and stuff. That's not the Coyote Mustangs, is it? Beagle Bob. Last time I was in Florida, they had some late model Challengers for highway patrol, painted with the sheriff's design too. Huh? Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see, wouldn't it? Josh Homan, back in the 60s, you would get Model Ts and any parts thereof for almost nothing. So many of them were made. Yeah. They still don't fetch that much money now. Phil Buckley, hi from Perth, 8:51 a.m. Yeah, well, what is it here? 7:51. Yeah, a little bit of a time difference, isn't there? LVG, the cops had pursuit Mustangs and Camaros back in the day. Not a bit of a bad gig, would it? For the cops, yeah, not a bad gig. Chasing around the place, roaring around the place, and someone else's Mustang and called Camaro. The company paid for one, government paid for. Driveway of Misfits, same with VW Beetle parts. Now the OE parts are getting rather scarce. They would be too. Yeah. Paul Funk, the city of Pueblo is supposed to get some Mustangs as patrol cars. Oh yeah. Old timer, New Edge is 98 through 2004. Oh, okay. Yep. I'm with you, man. Josh Homan, they made Beetles in Mexico until just recently. Maybe parts are more abundant down there. Possibly, yeah. Alan Trimble, greetings from stormy Delaware. We had some storms today. And yesterday, just like a flash, heavy 10 minutes of just pouring down with rain and lightning, and then it was all gone again. Kind of weird. Fish Geraldine, hey, welcome along, bud. You saw a Florida Highway Patrol car Corvette. Wow. Yeah, that would blow your mind. A Corvette. Beaglebog, New Edges 99 to 04. The SN95 was 94 to 98, with the 4.6 starting in 96. Engine improvements in 99. I've had 2, and that's one too many. Oh dear. I haven't heard them referred to as a new Edge. Okay. And I've heard, the SN95 I get. But yeah, I hadn't heard of the new Edge. Just turn up, but yeah, I mean, again, like the later model stuff, that's quite late model for me, for my little world. So yeah, not all that familiar with them. Whole time I have a 2004 New Edge GT convertible, no rust, but it needs paint and a top. Yeah, nice car, but yeah, you got some money to spend on it. The time you paint it and put a top on it, that's going to owe you a few dollars. Steve Sadusky, the Florida Highway Patrol Corvette is from a drug bust impoundment. Cool looking vet. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got a customer who's a sheriff here in Franklin, and yeah, he often turns up in something completely random, and yeah, a drug seizure. Yeah, they can seize them and keep them, and they either auction them off, but often they'll keep them around for a little while. They'll park them for 6 months, at the back of somewhere, and then reintroduce them as and use them as undercover cars for a little while until the locals get to know, recognise the car, and then they flick them off. But yeah, there's no shortage of cars that they're impounding. They're quite happy to impound your car if you get you get caught with that baking powder. Yeah. No, the ideal number of classic cars someone can own is one more than you have now. Agreed. Agreed. Yes. Tabo, don't let my wife hear you say that. The driveway is already full of misfits. Oh, yes. I know what you mean. LBG. Saw a guy scraping four 1600 dual port heads at the recycling place today. Could not get him quick enough to buy them up. Could not get to him quick enough to buy them up. That's a shame. It's a shame. Old timer, that's the rub, Kiwi. I'll have 10k more into it than will ever be worth. I probably will, as it was my daughter's car. Oh, okay. Yeah. You should. Yep. Most of the cars that come through my shop have an emotional attachment of some description. The ones that people that are paying, quite a bit more than what the car's worth to get them, restored or fixed up. There's usually an emotional attachment to them. Driveway of misfits. LVG, make sure they're not cracked between the valve seats, though. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess if they're cracked, then they're junk anyway. They're just scrap metal, aren't they? Fitzgeralding, we get wicked rain this time of the year in this part of Georgia. We got 2.5 inches in an hour last Thursday. Oh, that's a lot of water. Second largest water table in the US here. North Florida gets their drinking water from here. Oh, wow. Didn't realise that. Mopar Man 78. Howdy all. Good to have you here, man. Tavo, yep, 2 ways to look at a classic car: an investment in what you want, or an investment to make money. Only the former works. Yeah. Yeah, true. I mean, some people do make money on classic cars, but you've got to have a fair bit of ready cash available. You kind of got to jump on those deals. I know a couple of guys that do. They just buy and sell old stuff, and they take them to the big auctions and make money. But the guys that have a lot of money, they'll buy those $100,000 collectibles, and knowing they're really, they can get 120 for them. But yeah. Yeah, if I saw a 120 grand car that was 100K and thought that was a bargain, then I don't have the money to just drop that on there. So it's the old story, money makes money, doesn't it? If you've got plenty of it, you can make plenty more of it. Wow. Todd Denio, the police department here just auctioned off the cars they impounded. Highest price was a 2011 Ram 4x4 pickup, sold for $800. Wow. That was a deal. That was a deal. Mopar Man, 78. We get man-made rain, and while it's raining here, they're making the X patterns in the sky to help in more wet weather. Geoengineering, really? Huh. Tavo, I meant money invested into the. Oh, okay, I'm with you. Okay, sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Beagle Bob, are you going to be posting more Marge videos soon? Yes, we are. Hopefully, if I can get my shit together, Saturday morning, like 9:30, there'll be a fairly large Marge video on Saturday morning. So yeah, watch out for that. Yeah, so that should be all about pulling the engine and trans out, getting the engine torn down, seeing how bad it is, how savable it is, and we'll go from there. So yeah, hope to kind of film quite a bit of the engine disassembly and just really look in and see how bad it is or isn't. What's how seized up was it? Was it seized up? Yeah, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what's savable in that engine and what's not. Given we're going to stroke it, we don't need a lot from that engine, really just block and heads. That's it. Cranks going away, rods, pistons all going away. That'll all be replaced. But it's like how much wears in the bores? Is there enough? Can we rebore it? And have enough meat left in the side, sides of the bores, that kind of thing. So yeah. Christopher C. trying to learn how to adjust weights and springs on a 700 R4 Governor. No, I can't help you there, man. My automatic transmissions go to the automatic transmission specialist. Yeah, I'm not. Haven't really delved into automatic transmissions. Manual transmissions, yeah. Automatics, no. Yeah, like transmissions coming out of Marge, and that's going up the road to my old boy transmission builder. And we're giving him 2 transmissions, and hopefully we'll get one back that's awesome. So, yeah, time will tell. Fish Geralding, I'm getting ready to invest in crypto. My brother invested 50K in February. He cracked 1 million last week. Seriously? You turned 50K into 1 million in 6 months? Wow. Wouldn't be telling too many people about that, mate. Keep that one under your hat. That's staggering growth in 6-month period. Wow. Steve Sadusky, looking forward to the video, Kiwi. Well, good. Hopefully lots of people will watch it. The more people that watch it, the more trick stuff I can buy for Marge. Yeah, lots of views equals, well, not lots of money, but some money. Which all goes back into the Marge refurbishing fund. So yeah. Mopar man, haven't been able to do anything on the Valiant or Dart. Been too hot, all days in a row of rain and all over the place work schedule. Yeah, well, that sucks, but yeah, I know the feeling. The other one that everybody battles is either having not enough time, having enough money but not enough time, or having the time and not enough money. That always seems to be my battle. You know. Oh, my palm man, and battling mosquitoes. Hey, well, we do pretty well. We don't get much in the way of mosquitoes around where I am, which is nice. Peter Dorflinger. Pete said he will wear his large Marge t-shirt in honor of on Saturday. In honor of on Saturday. Yeah. Okay. Well, gosh, what time that's going to be? If I post that Saturday morning, when's that going to be? New Zealand's ahead of us. Oh gosh, my brain's not that good. Be the wrong time of day. Early in the morning is going to be when over there, middle of the night, sometime. So you'll be up late. Tavo, well into winter here and still nowhere near enough rain for the farmers to relax. Oh, that sucks. Farmers always need some rain. Old timer. Marge told me she wants a 6-speed manual. I swear she did. Oh man. Yeah, if it was a 2-door hardtop, then I'd be all about that. Yeah, I'd be all about like lots of horsepower, 6-speed. Make it a muscle car. Large muscle car, but a muscle car. But yeah, the wagon. Yeah, I don't know. Just more of a cruiser. Yeah, I don't. I thought about trying to adapt a late model. 4-speed transmission or transmission with overdrive. But I'm just going to put the old original one back in, and it's a 3-speed transmission. With a nice torquey engine, it'll be just fine. LVG, Lower Man's Vintage Garage. What's the most valuable customer car I've worked on? Trying to think. As far as muscle car goes, honestly, probably that Challenger, that TA, that 340 TA 6-pack Challenger that I had. We did the heads on, had the valve guide issue. That was a high dollar car. That was a high dollar. I'm not really sure what it would be worth, but it'd be well into the twos. I mean, it was a superb restoration, like really, really good. One of the drawbacks of being like building cars for a living is you tend to stop looking at cars as how nice they are. You start looking at them as you start looking at the things that have been missed and the little things that are wrong. And that car, you just couldn't fault it. Like I was all over that car, and you just couldn't fault it. Well, I couldn't. Some of the Mopar gurus might have been able to say, well, this sticker should have been, 2 degrees to the left, or I don't know, because I'm not one of those Mark Warman Mopar gurus. But that was a superb car, and that would have been. I wouldn't have been surprised if that wouldn't fetch 250, 300. That was a superb car. Yeah, so that's probably one of the most valuable ones. Yeah. Driveway of Misfits. I hear her say that as well. Said something about automatics being for wusses or something. I I got my 6-speed in the Mustang. But I don't know, like the Mustang's the play car, Marge is the fun car. Yeah. But yeah, don't think it hasn't crossed my mind, because it has. But that's kind of where I've circled around, and that's where I've come back to, is keeping the original block and heads, original transmission, and yeah, go from there. I mean, I looked at the later model, 727 transmission, the aluminum case one, and it's like, then you have to change. They don't have an e-brake on the back of the trans like the cast iron torque flights. So then you have to change the rear axle to one that has an e-brake set up in the rear drums rather than the drum on the back of the trans. Change the transmission, to just have to still have a 3-speed transmission. Really see the upside to that. I mean, we may dive into the cast iron one or the two that I've got, and if we can't put a good transmission together out of those parts, then we'll have to kind of look elsewhere. And then at that point, I might go into, investigate into the later model, 4-speed Mopar transmissions, 518s or something, I think they're called. But then really, to make benefit of that, you need to drop the rear axle ratio and stuff like that. And it just, it snowballs, So, yeah. Christopher C., I've swapped SM465 to 700R4. Just need to adjust shift points for my rear gear and tyre setup. And there you go. Craig Nearing, large Marge is such a worthy beast. Well, thank you, sir. I think she is, yeah. So thank you for that. Tavo, got you there, Kiwi. Now I have the time but no income. Yeah, it's a battle, man. It's a battle. Mopar, man. Yep, money's always an issue. We mean even if I stick to a daily budget. Yeah. Well, the more you have, the more you can spend on your car. That's for sure. Mopar, man. Rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey. Yep, it's a good song. It's a good song. Pop's Mustang Shop, large display of Mustang State Trooper cars at the Mustang Museum of America in Odenville, Alabama. Huh. Very cool. I didn't know. I hadn't even heard of that. Mustang Museum of America. Wow. Todd Denio, Kiwi, one of the hotter performing cars around here is a 90s Caprice wagon with a built and turbocharged LS with 5-speed. I think I know the car you mean. Yeah. I think I've seen videos. I've seen that on YouTube, that car. He drag races it a lot, doesn't he? It's like, that's super fast. Yeah, it's a pretty cool wagon. Yeah, I don't know. For me, Marge is a cruiser, just a neat old wagon that you can pull up and people will admire just because of what it is, and they haven't seen one before, and not because it's idling, like it wants to kill someone, Yeah. So that's the thing you've got to remember about hot rodding, and I see some comments come through on my videos, and some of them, sometimes the guys can be, I don't mean you guys, but some of the commenters I get can be quite negative about cars. Like, I would never do that. I hate that. That was dumb. And it's like, everybody's different, guys. Like the hopping cars. That just leaves me so cold. Like, I wouldn't. If I saw that happening, I'd just walk the other way. I wouldn't. I think that's not what I like at all. But they're not wrong. That's what they love, and good on them. They're spending all their money on what they love and not really hurting anyone. Some will say they're destroying a cool old classic car, but um, you know, some people will tell you putting an LS into a Camaro is, an early Camaro is destroying it. So, it's your car. You build it how you want to. It is a free country. We get told that a lot. It's a free country, so build what you want to build. End of time. Is there a way to check the numbers for the vacuum advance weights in a Ford Motorcraft distributor, or do I have to take it apart? You would have to take it apart. To actually see the weights. Well, you wanted to see the numbers so you know what the weights they are. You'd have to pull it apart, mate. I'm afraid. Yep. Old timer watching those supercharged late model F-150s on YouTube has me thinking. There you go. End of time, numbers off the body or something. The only way to be sure would be to actually see them on the weights themselves, because you don't know if someone else has been in there and changed them, somewhere along the line. Why are you wanting to check? Have you got too much vacuum advance or not enough, or why do you need to know the weights of them? Josh Homan, in Europe's manuals are more popular. Having an automatic is seen as, let's just say, lacking in manhood. Oh, dear me. Yep. Yeah, I see that. But yeah. Marge, just stay in auto, I'm afraid. That's just how it's going to be. LVG, I really like the plan to keep Marge close to stock. Makes for a cool ride that always starts, runs and stops. All the important things. That's how I run my 50s shoebox. Yeah, and I thought long and hard about putting that 392 Hemi into Marge. I really did, because everybody loves a first gen Hemi to look at, but keeping the engine in it, and I can call it a romantic notion or whatever you want to call it, but I just wanted to keep. I decided eventually that I wanted to keep, the engine that kind of brought it home, so to speak, from San Diego, stays in it, and I found a twin 4-barrel intake for it, so I'm going to put that on it, and got some air cleaners, some period correct, 59 Plymouth air cleaners for it. So it's going to look kind of stock. I mean, they didn't put the twin 4-barrel, to my knowledge. They didn't put 318s with the twin 4-barrels in 59 Plymouth wagons. Anyway, they did in the hard tops, the Furies, but not in the wagons. So those that know will know it's not original, and that's okay. I don't mind that either. Steve Sadusky, well said, Kiwi. Build your car the way it makes you happy. Yeah, well, that's how I look at it. And I do look down my nose at some builds. I'll be honest with you guys, but I keep it to myself. It's like that's just information for me. That's my opinion, and it doesn't. Everybody does it. You don't always have to share your opinion, and of course, people are very quick to do that these days on the internet. People are quite brave on the internet. But one of an expression that one of the old sayings that I grew up with was, if you haven't got anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Old timer Josh Homan, European opinions suck. Oh dear. Beagle Bob, I've eyed the Whipple kit for my F-150 50 many times, but I can never justify the 7K plus price. It's a lot of coin, isn't it? It's a lot of coin. Old timer. Buddy has a first gen Hemi and a 64 Barracuda. Wow, that would be a squeeze. That's got to be shoehorned in. Wow, that's a big engine in that engine bay. 64. Yeah, that's a little bit of engineering went into that. Good for him. Todd Denio, I prefer a manual transmission and I'm designing a hand-operated hydraulic clutch that is operated on the shifter since I'm losing use of my legs to spinal damage. Oh man, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, bud. Okay, so like a push-button operated clutch. So would that be like an electric hydraulic type setup? Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, it'd take a little bit of kind of getting the timing and the speed of the clutch release would be interesting, but it's doable. Paul Funk, a blown 392 backed by a Lenco would be calling any old 50s Mopar. Man, a Lenco on the street. Yeah, that'd be something, wouldn't it? That would be something. End of time, just for initial and total timing. Found one of the last remanufactured ones from many years ago in a box. Okay. Yeah, I'd bang it in and see what you were getting. See if you need to change it. That'd be what I'd do. BKGJ. What was it like in your day when arrogance was met with reality, especially in regards to romance? It's an interesting question. Yeah, arrogance was met with reality. That was definitely a clash. I'll say that much. In regards to romance, I'm not really sure how to answer that one. I'll be honest with you. Old timer, Beagle Bob, exactly my dilemma. Yeah, 7K is a lot of money, and then that's if you do it all yourself. That yeah, $7,000 doesn't get it put on. Old timer, yes, you had to cut the hood braces to get the hood to close, but it does. No scoop or holes. Looks 100% stock outside. Wow, really? Wow, that's cool. Jeff Hutchins, the day my mum was born, my grandpa bought his only new car, a 52 two-door Ford. She saved it from being scrapped, but has sat for decades. I'll build it someday. Rat rod with twin turbo 6.9 litre diesel. Wow, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Yeah, good on her for saving it though. That's really cool. Driveway of Misfits. Todd, VW had an auto stick setup where you shifted without needing a clutch. Maybe look into that to see how it worked. And I know Mazda had a setup. Gosh, when was this? Probably back in the 80s. The rotary Mazdas. And some of the others may have had it too, but I know there were some of the rotaries. Quite a lot of the Japanese domestic market rotaries had a 5-speed manual with a torque converter. And I never drove one. I bought a few of the 5-speeds that were bought in as parts. That a few of the big auto parts importers were bringing them in, and typically you'd throw out the torque converter and just put it behind a regular Mazda clutch, and that was more for racing purposes, that kind of thing. But that was the cars had a clutch pedal. Did they or not? No, they didn't have a clutch pedal. So why am I saying that? No, it was essentially an automatic, but you just lift it off the throttle. It had a torque converter, so you lift it off the throttle, so the torque converter would kind of unload, and you change the gear, and then you just accelerate it again. So you just had on and off the gas, and a torque converter in front of a manual. I remember in the drag racing they used to put clutches in front of autos. You'd have a clutched auto instead of a converter on an auto. That way you could rev it and drop the clutch and get off the line. But Mazda did it the reverse, where a torque converter instead of a flywheel and clutch, and it would, you could put it in first and it would idle, stationary, and then you could ease off the brake, ease on the gas, and away it would go. And then just lift off the gas, next gear, lift off the gas, next gear. Don't know how long that lasted, how many years that was produced. I really don't know, but you might want to Google that, how Mazda did that, because that could work for you. Do away with the whole hydraulic electric clutch setup and just have a torque converter in front of the manual. Now, where are we up to? Josh Homan, Chrysler had that as well. I think they did, but it was quite early on, wasn't it? It was kind of a predecessor to the automatic. I think if we're talking about the same thing anyway. Mopo Man, Kiwi. One thing I'm looking for is an old used Offenhauser dual one barrel intake for slant 6. Good Lord, that would be rare. Offenhauser wants 600 plus for a brand new one. I'm not about to pay that price. So if anybody on here has one, wow, I'm surprised Offenhauser is still offering them. 600. It's a big manifold on a slant 6. It's a big casting. 600 is, I wouldn't have thought was out of the ballpark, for a manifold of that size and the volume that they can sell. But it's all about your budget too, man. So, Mopo, if I wanted to pay 600, I'd buy a slant 6 intake from Aussie Speed. No, okay. I wasn't even aware that was a thing. So, that might be a better option. Jeff Hutchins, yep, super weird, but that's what I'm doing when it's mine. Sad truth is my dad has always said he's restoring it, but it's never going to happen. I don't want it with a 6-cylinder and 3 on the tree. Well, fair enough. Craig Nearing, VW had a switch-operated vacuum clutch on their automatic stick-shift Beetle. Huh. So electronically operated vacuum clutch. Interesting. Pop's Mustang. I was told that when I grew up, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything. Yeah, exactly. LVG, yep. VW has an auto stick. I think it worked off engine vacuum and a button on top of the shifter to engage the clutch. Used a 3-speed box and a torque converter. Okay. So the VW had a clutch and a torque converter? How did that work? Flaco the skinny kid. Welcome along, man. I still think Marge needs a surfboard. But other than that, let it be. Yeah, surfboard would be kind of cool. Especially if you get one of those old school boards, like a board they used to use in the 50s or 60s. That would be kind of cool. Old timer. My brother had a 52 Ford two-door in the weeds when he passed. It's still there. Has a Crown Vic front end bolted on it for power steering, brakes, and so forth. Well, there you go. Is that your next project, buddy? That could be your next project. Tavo, mate, down here has a dual BBD and a triple SU manifold for a slant. Huh. Yeah, triple SUs. That'd be, God, I don't know who you get to work on those here on this side of the ocean. SU carburetors are not something you very rarely seen here. A few MGBs have them. That's about it. Most mechanics don't know what they are if they see one. They know it's a carburetor, but it's not something that they've ever really seen and or worked on. But yeah, the BBDs, obviously, that's a lot more common. Jeff Hutchins, I might even kind of gas at it and chop an F250 two-wheel drive chassis down for the 52 body. Solves the brake, front end, and rear axle problems. Not sure if I'm up for the gasser look yet. Yeah, I mean, the gases look cool. I give you that. They do. They kind of have that cool nostalgia look. But I've never driven one, but they look like they would go around corners horribly. Pardon me. They look like they go around corners horribly. Doesn't look like they'd want to turn a corner. And for me, and this is where everyone's different. For me, I need a car that will go around the corner reasonably well. He says building Marge up. Marge is never going to be a cornering queen. But we've lowered the right height. We've got quite a bit wider tyres on than what she came out with. So it'll handle better than the original 59 Plymouth wagon. Will you be able to carve the backcountry roads? No, I don't think so. We go around them briskly, but yeah, I wouldn't want to be trying to pitch it in and getting the back end out. That would be a little frightening, I think. Driveway Misfits. I have the shop manual for a 68 bug and it discusses the auto stick system. Give me a second, I'll look it up. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it might be something you can borrow all or some of the idea or the concept of it in some way. Because they're not dummies. Volkswagen are no dummy. Their engineers are not dummies by any means. Mopar Man. Yep, Aussie Speed has a variety of intakes for slant sixes, and the Aussie version has long, even runners. Intake looks like an aluminum squid, but work well. Just too expensive for me. Yeah, it's frustrating at that. Yeah, when it gets like that. I do. I know what you mean, man. Craig Nearing, Saxomat. Look up this for a look to see at the clutch on a torque converter. Saxomat. That's an unusual name for it, but okay. A clutch on a torque converter. If someone had asked me if that was a real thing, I'd have probably said no, but okay. See, you learn something every day or, once a week on a Tuesday night, as the case may be. Chris Triumph, hello. Kiwi, hello Kiwi. Had SU carbs on my old Jag. Tuned them like motorcycle CV carbs. Could well be. Honestly, that's a carb I've not messed with. So I really don't know. I know they got dash pots and dampers for how quick the throttle opens, and so I know, I know the tiniest bit about them, but do I understand them? No. But yeah, Jags had 3 of them on. Had and the V12s I think had 6 of them, didn't they? I think the V12s had 6 SUs. But yeah, they were. The V12 Jags were not well-behaved cars. LVG, the big problem with the auto stick was that the tranny would heat up. The torque converter was air-cooled. I think they said goodbye in 72. Saw them most in Carmen gears. Okay. LVG, whenever I say LVG, I think that's probably where I came up with your abbreviation for, was from SVG. So, yeah, just to slightly go off topic a little bit. Who has been watching the NASCAR and watching Shane Van Gisbergen, who's nicknamed SVG as opposed to LVG, taking NASCAR by storm? Good Kiwi boy, and I know his dad quite well. His dad's been to my shop, and I used to rally with him way back in the day, back in New Zealand. I've ridden with him as a co-driver, his dad, and trust me, it's in the genes, because this old man is a freaking lunatic behind the wheel. Very good driver, but like, you can't even say he's got big balls, because that kind of implies that he's brave. I don't think his old man really understands the concept of being scared behind the wheel. He just comes up to a corner, aims it, nails it, goes around it. Like, there's no fear, there's no doubt. He's just like he's kind of 80% awesome to ride with and 20% terrifying. Because I remember being off the road with, this is Shane Van Gisbergen's dad I'm talking about, being in a 4-wheel drive Mitsubishi Starion or Conquest, 4-wheel drive, small block Chev powered rally car, and being completely off the road, below the road. Like, he ran out of road on the outside of a corner, kind of down the bank, still hard up it. Like, he pulled it back to second, hard up it, managed to scramble back onto the road. As we were just getting back on the road, he smacked it back up into 3rd gear and just kept going. And just, it was nothing. It was like, oh, that wasn't quite the right line, and carried on. It wasn't like, oh shit. There was no oh fuck moment at all. It was like, just he was like more angry that the car wasn't doing what he wanted it to do, and really he wanted it to do too much. But it was a lot of fun. But yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen is doing extremely well in NASCAR, showing some of the good old boys how it's done, especially on a road course. But yeah, if you're not following NASCAR and haven't seen him, go and have a look. Look for SVG. That'll come up on it real quick. It's becoming quite a well-known name in NASCAR. Paul Funk, SVG is the best road course driver. Yeah, in NASCAR by a long shot. Yep. And that's, it's hard not to be a bit one-eyed being a Kiwi, and Shane's a Kiwi, but he just is the best road course driver. And once he figures out the ovals, he's going to embarrass a bunch of NASCAR drivers. He really is. Hang on. I've been having a ramble, and now I've dropped behind on the comments. Drive Misfits, auto stick, 4 driving ranges, low, first, second, reverse. Touch the stick and the car automatically engages the electrically activated servo clutch. Has hydrodynamic torque converter. Okay, who understands that? I think I do, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, I have heard of it before, and I know that is one of the guys said. LVG said, it went away in '72 because it was just a little problematic. But 50 years on, there's probably the technology and the equipment available to make it a little bit more workable. So yeah, definitely worth having a close look at. Jeff Hutchins, I have a BMW 3 Series for corners. I say kind of gasser because it won't be as tall and not straight axle. Okay, more of a Frankenstein. Not too worried about corners, but you're right. Full gasser, no handle. Yeah. But man, like, just because I made the comment about the gasser, don't not do that to the car that you want to do it to. You have at it. That was, just I just want to be clear that I'm just sharing my thoughts, and that's that's what works for me. And maybe nobody else would agree with me. I don't know. But that was just my thoughts. But yeah, if you want to make it a full gasser, then have at it. A Frankenstein, have at it. Whatever you want to do it, man. LVG, this is what I like the best of this group. Everyone is ready to jump in and help. Good times. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Beagle Bob, I watched a few races last year. Maybe I'll catch the Phoenix race if I haven't moved. There you go. LVG, Chris Triumph. I'm pretty good with the old SUs. I have a 53 Mark 7. Let me know your question. Okay, there you go. 53 Mark 7 Jag. That's a cool old Jag. Driveway of misfits. 80% awesome to drive with, 20% terrifying. Sounds like my wife. Ooh, I bet she's not watching this. That's funny. Mrs. Kiwi can be a bit terrifying to drive with sometimes. I'll share a story with you. I remember when we first got to the States, we were towing a fifth wheeler around with my Dodge Ram 2500, and we were doing a fairly long drive one day, and I took to the passenger side and was just having a sleep for a little while. And I woke up because things sounded a little louder than normal. Something kind of stirred me. And I looked over, and she's doing 90 mile an hour with a 34-foot fifth wheeler on the back, overtaking some other vehicles on the interstate. Yeah, that was like, holy crap. 90 mile an hour. And I said, do we really need to be going that fast? And she said, well, I was just trying to get past these other cars. I'm like, well, you could stay behind them. If they're only doing 80, you can stay behind them and do 80 as well. But yeah, like most arguments with wives, I didn't win that one, but it's all right. I get to tell the story, so it's a bit of fun. Jeff Hutchins, Beagle Bob, I've had enough Mopar V8s to keep me happy. I'm not a Ford V8 gas engine fan, but I am a diesel guy. An IDI, direct injection Fords with turbos coming right behind Cummins for me. Then 7.3 power stroke. Hard to beat a Cummins, mate, isn't it? Hard to beat a Cummins. Todd Denier, the hand control clutch I'm working on is a 3-stage hydraulic system. 3-stage. Interesting. Wonder how that. I'm trying to think how the 3-stage would work. It's interesting. Keep working at it, man. You'll get it. Josh Homan, they should have considered putting torque converters on manuals. Would have made them easier to drive and might have helped their popularity. Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about, the Mazdas. I mean, that was why they did it. I believe, in Japan for the domestic market, because the Japanese, spend so much of their time in traffic because it's such an overcrowded country. It was a way of having the best of both worlds. You didn't have to keep putting your foot on the clutch every 10, 30, 40, 50 yards and stop again, and then like that bumper to bumper traffic jams, which are everywhere in Japan. So that was their way of getting around that, and so having the best of both worlds. Beagle Bob, fair enough, Jeff. Would it make a nice monster truck? I appreciate anything that's outside the box and unique. Well, as a monster truck, that would definitely be unique. Mopar Man, my door panels on my 65 Dart is deteriorating, so I'll be using thin pegboard and marine grade boat cloth vinyl coated cloth, black and white checkered flag. For 4 foot by 3 foot rolls, 30 something bucks. We'll need a few rolls. Yeah, you will. An upholsterer that I know, he's gone away from using the pegboard or the hardboard or that heavy cardboard that the factory kind of use, or compressed cardboard. And he just uses aluminum now. He makes them out of about, I think it's about 1/8 inch thick aluminum panels, and he just cuts them out of that. They never warp, they never twist, they don't soak up water, moisture, condensation, any of that stuff. He just pads them, wraps them, and away you go. They don't buckle on the clips as bad as the cardboard does, or the hardboard. And he just drills them and puts the same clips in that they use in the stock ones, and looks good. I've got to say, it looks good. A little bit harder to cut out, a little bit. Probably a bit more expensive to buy the material, but interiors are expensive. So I think about the aluminum. Beagle Bob, will you send Dr. Art or Kiwi some pictures when you get around to it? What are you talking about there, Beagle Bob? Are you talking to someone else? You're not talking to me, I don't think, are you? Oh, you're talking to Jeff. Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Craig Nearing, the switch on the auto stick was on the lower end of the stick and was adjustable. When you touch the knob, the switch actuated a vacuum solenoid. Beagle Bob, I suppose Kiwi is confident Mrs. Kiwi isn't watching. Well, I mean, I'm not telling any lies, but if she sees it, she probably will give me a hard time about it. But I mean, I've repeated that story, face to face with people often when she's been, with me. So I usually get a little light punch in the arm or something like that, told to shut up. But I'd tell the story anyway. She did it. You got to own it, don't you? Fred Gomez, what's in the glass tonight? It is an old-fashioned that Mrs. Kiwi made for me, and I don't know what sort of bourbon she used. But I can tell you it tastes pretty good. So, I'm a happy camper. Josh Homan, that's funny because men are supposed to be most of the aggressive drivers. Yeah, I wouldn't say she's aggressive. I think there's a difference between aggressive and fast. She likes to go fast. She does. She drives her car and she's regularly 80, 90 mile an hour. She usually slows down when she realizes she's hit 90, because it's just too fast to get a speeding ticket at night. 20 over, it gets pretty expensive. But you don't often see her doing 70 on the interstate. That's not her style. I'll cruise along in the old blue truck and stuff at like 65, maybe 70, and I'll just be in the right lane and just trucking along, and I'm okay. And I do like to go fast too, but yeah, she is occasionally running a little late and in a hurry. I say occasionally. But yeah, she's often in a hurry. So yeah, she scoots along, but she's not aggressive with other drivers. So yeah. Sergeant Mustang, hey Kiwi, thanks for all your videos. I'm looking for 61 Chryslers. They had 361, 383, or 413. Do you have any preference between those engines? Good or bad? I'd probably try and go with a 383 and 413, only because the commonality of, or the common, the availability of parts. The 361, there's just not as many of them around. I don't think there's really anything wrong with the motor per se. It's just the 383 and 413 are just a bunch easier for parts, I believe, like getting pistons and stuff like that. Probably the bearings and stuff will be no different, but definitely 383. There's millions of them. Oh, I'm trying to sneeze here. So yeah, none of those three are bad. But I would have a leaning towards the 383 and 413. But if it's a nice car, if the rest of the cars, I'd rather have a better body in a 361 than a ratty body in a 383. So I guess you could say that's fence sitting a little, but yeah, I would. I would look for the one with the best body. Really, that's rust will cost you money, unless you can do it yourself, and that's certainly not everybody can do it themselves. But yeah, that'd be my thoughts. Jeff Hutchins, my first thought with the 52 Ford was a 9-inch rear, Mustang 2 front end, I think, 413 max wedge and built 727, just because I'm a Mopar man at heart. Yeah, that kind of shows a little bit. Yeah, you can tell. And it pisses some people off. Well, I'm kind of a Ford man who's like crossing the line over into Mopars a little. So, yeah. Mopar man, I'll check into that, Kiwi. Oh. Jeff Hutchins, Beagle Bob, it probably would make a decent looking Tra or Cruck, but not my... What the heck is a Tra or Cruck? Okay. Not sure that's a typo or I've had too much bourbon. Andy Nickel, I bought a roll of Tortex for a guitar case. I've got to recover, just trying to work up the nerve to tackle it first time. Huh. Tortex. I've not even heard of that, mate. A roll of Tortex for a guitar case. Sounds interesting. I'll have to Google it and see what it is or what it looks like. I gather it's a fabric of some sort. Beagle Bowl, I haven't been married as long as you, but telling no lies has never really helped me with discussions. Oh, yes. It's a challenge, isn't it, bud? It's a challenge. Driveway of misfits. Be careful what you say about the wife, Kiwi, especially if she's mixing your drinks. Bleach don't go together. No, I don't suppose they do. Jeff Hutchins, I've never heard of a woman being late. The last time I was pulled over was because we were late because of my daughters, though. Yeah, do I detect a hint of sarcasm in that comment? Perhaps I do. LVG, good night all, back under the thunder. There you go. Yeah, it is almost that time. It's 5 to 9. We got 5 minutes And yeah. Beagle Bob, any make of 60s cars are more similar to one another than anything EFI. LVG, the bird. Thunderbird. Okay. Under the thunder. Okay, Thunderbird. Good for you, man. Get back at it. It's not going to fix itself, is it? Driveway of Misfits. Good night, LVG. Tra or Cruck would probably be a mix of car and truck. Okay. I thought I was having a stroke there trying to read that. Jeff Hutchins, you're a Ford man who's Mopar curious. Yeah, that's funny. I get it. I get that. I get it. That's funny. Oh, Andy Nickel, black vinyl used to cover cases and amplifiers. I know the stuff you mean. Yeah. Huh? Where did you get a roll of that? Is that still made, or is that? Yeah, that's fairly tough stuff. That would be hard to work with, I imagine. Jeff Hutchins, Tra and Crucker car bodies on four-wheel drive truck chassis. Okay. Tra or Cuck. People have got too much spare time coming up with names like that. Craig Nearing, hey, good night, guys. You too, Kiwi, rest well. Yes, I will. Yeah. Sergeant Mustang, thanks for the advice on engines. Definitely good. Parts availability and quality frame. Yeah. Yep. Watch out for bourbon and arsenic. Oh my God. Chris Triumph, ciao, Kiwi. Good night, man. Andy Nickel. Everyone's bailing out. All right, guys. Well, it's been a bunch of fun having having that little break. We've been busy tonight, plenty to talk about. So yeah, I am. I'm going to get some sleep and back into it bright and early tomorrow, and try and get a bunch of customer work done, and try and have a little bit of time at the end of the day to pull the engine out of Marge and see what it looks like. Josh Homan, AMC Eagles were basically car bodies on truck chassis. Yeah, they kind of were. Driveway of Misfits. Good day, night all. Yeah, it is day, night too, with the Aussies on board. Good rest of your week. Beagle Bob. Good to have you back from vacation. Looking forward to seeing all the new videos. Goodbye, everyone. Yeah, hopefully I'll have some videos coming. As I say, keep an eye out on Saturday morning. For hopefully a good video on Marge, delving inside her engine and looking under her skirt, so to speak, and see what's going on. But for now, look after yourselves, get to work on your cars, get something done, and have some fun doing it. That's the key. And look after yourselves, guys. And yeah, thanks again. And I will see you next Tuesday, right? Okay. See you then. Take care, guys.